I would like to begin with asking you, all four of you, looking backwards, 3 years back, was the agreement, the JCPOA, a good agreement? Emily.
Okay, well, no.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for coming.
The JCPOA was never a good agreement. It never fulfilled the goal for which it was originally negotiated, and that was to be a comprehensive deal on Iran. It was supposed to end this issue, this crisis, for good. And what we got in the end is a deal that is a far cry from that. It has major flaws that are dangerous, especially if the international community fell into this kind of slumber. Quoting the IAEA reports that Iran is complying, so everything is fine, the deal is working. Well, the reason Iran was complying is the deal is not bad from Iran's point of view. Iran negotiated, bargained very well with the international community. They got major benefits for minimal concessions. The major problems with the deal, just to go over them very quickly, the biggest problem, of course, is the fact that this deal has an expiration date. It has the sunset provisions that are unconditional. I mean, they're not conditioned on any benchmarks. So we have a state that is a known violator of an international treaty. A new deal is made with this state to restrict its stockpile of fissile material. But then the deal ends without any conditions, without saying Iran needs to prove that it is now a trustworthy actor after decades of violating the NPT in a deceptive and cheating manner. The deal legitimizes Iran's uranium enrichment program, which it never should have done. Remember, sanctions were placed on Iran for years because of its uranium enrichment activities. And at the end of the day, it got a deal that legitimizes its uranium enrichment activities. How in the world could that have happened? Iran is allowed, under the terms of the deal, to work on a full range of advanced centrifuges that will spin many times faster than the ones it had been using. Iran was told that when the deal sunsets, it will be able to have a full and rich nuclear program with all the enrichment capacity that it wants. How is this promised to an NPT violator, and again, without any conditions placed on it? The deal doesn't cover ballistic missiles. This was one of the first concessions that was made to Iran. Ludicrous. Ballistic missiles are one of three essential components of having a working nuclear weapons capability. You need the fissile material, you need to know how to make a warhead, and you need to marry that warhead to missiles, ballistic missiles, cruise missiles. So think about it. Iran, under this deal, was able to move forward with critical elements.
Just checking you.
From the Supreme Leader, sorry. The Supreme Leader disagrees.
Iran was able to move forward with critical elements of a nuclear weapons capability, the advanced centrifuges to spin uranium much faster, and of course the delivery mechanism, the ballistic missiles. A final flaw of the deal, and with this I'll end. Inexplicably, the negotiators, the P5+1 negotiators, agreed not to place the file, the annex, the special annex of the IAEA with all of the information, the intelligence information with regard to Iran's military work. There was annex called the PMD, the Possible Military Dimension. In the context of a negotiation over a final comprehensive deal, it makes no sense that this annex was not cleared up with Iran as part of the negotiation. But we noticed from the start of the negotiation that the P5+1 were fudging on this. They kept saying, no, the PMD file will be relegated to a separate investigation with the IAEA, but it will be parallel to the negotiations. At the end of the day, the IAEA investigation into the PMD, which is the heart of, should have been the heart of the negotiations with Iran, because that's the violation. That was relegated not only to a parallel process, but one that only began after the JCPOA was presented. So these are the major flaws. It's a dangerously flawed deal.
Yep, and we could have spoken about terrorism and destabilizing the area that we see in Syria and from Yemen, the whole crescent, the whole Shiite crescent.